Hi there, Jenny Bilfield from Stanford University, and I guess if I forward this, oh, it's me. Yes. Oh. All sorts of performers around the Stanford campus. We do a lot of site-specific work, and this is a fountain by the library. This is a still life that Ann Carlson choreographed, as is this, not to alarm you. Although people were alarmed. DJ Olive at the Karma stage. Dave Douglas with Marcus Strickland at the Karma stage. Lauren Schoenberg at the Cantor Arts Center. Esperanza Spalding in a dorm, one of our best performance venues, and Rokia Traore. Oops. So-called Todd Reynolds and the Coho, David Harrington, a friend to all. An installation in our lobby before Student Works Festival that we sponsored. And the Metaphysics of Notation being played by a faculty member at the Cantor Arts Center. Oh, that's a sneak preview. I'll go back. I'll leave you with that. So that's a little bit of show and tell at Stanford University. And actually, since we've been planning this conference, the title, The Arts Center of the 21st Century, has struck me as just the first half of a larger sentence. And that's actually what has guided me in my comments today. I would say, actually, the Arts Center of the 21st Century is the university campus. I believe that the blue sky discussions we'll be having during our time together today are as much about affirming the value of what exists on our campuses and reimagining current spaces as it is about creating essential new tools in our toolbox. Another way of looking at it is that perhaps we're imagining an essential new venue in an existing portfolio of spaces for arts making and arts experience. The discussion is universal. We all operate or borrow performance venues that serve or work against us in a variety of ways. Some campuses are well-resourced, others lack essential spaces with proper infrastructure. Stanford Lively Arts falls somewhere in between along this continuum, and I often refer to us as a hermit crab setting up temporary homes in a variety of shells. But we know that high-impact programming and meaningful arts making can happen anywhere, and frankly, in spite of our spaces. This is a pretty dynamic moment for the arts at Stanford. With the launch of the Arts Initiative 5 years ago, the goal has been to make the arts inescapable for students. And as you can see, you pretty much can't go anywhere without seeing some arts activity going on throughout the year. If you look at the nearly 200 student performance groups and the wealth of classes filled to capacity, you'll likely be surprised that so much happens on a campus with relatively modest-sized arts departments and few dedicated student majors. In addition to a robust faculty, we have numerous art centers that support the arts. And actually joining me here at the conference are two colleagues, Sarah Curran, who's the arts programmer for the Stanford Institute for Creativity in the Arts, a hub for academic and programmatic collaboration across the Arts Initiative, and Sasha Lightman, the manager for the Center for Computer Research in Music and Acoustics, home to research that has informed a great deal of the sound synthesis technology employed in the past 40 years, and also the birthplace of the MoPho, the Mobile Phone Orchestra. Within this community of practitioners, scholars, students, and fellow program managers, Stanford Lively Arts is the campus's 40-year-old arts presenter, with 35 ticketed events and over 120 free performances and residency activities on and off campus each year. When I was recruited to this job, I was charged with the goal of reshaping Lively Arts to embody the sense of inquiry, risk-taking, and entrepreneurial spirit that is in Stanford's DNA, and indeed that of Silicon Valley as well. My interpretation of this goal has placed a high premium upon the value of the authorial voice in our programming and mission, the composer, choreographer, and writer. And this in turn has led to a great deal of commissioning and development of new work that very much works off-road. Sasha and Sarah have been great collaborators in support of this mission. I mention all this to underscore that Stanford, while not an arts-focused institution, has an arts-engaged student body and faculty, robust centers and programs that supports arts collaboration in meaningful ways, and I'll say a bit more about our performance spaces shortly. When I came to Stanford 4 years ago, I joined an interesting discussion in progress. Should Stanford have an arts district, a grouping of buildings in proximity dedicated to the arts and a focal point for presentation and study? Or should the university take a more decentralized approach and add art spaces throughout the campus, within and in proximity to student residences and such? The obvious response to the either-or question was naturally yes, and both. There was a demand for both quantity and quality. Stanford, while known for its breakthrough engineering and science facilities, had some ground to make up in the quality of its art spaces. In 2005, Lively Arts spearheaded its first substantive residency in collaboration with faculty and students with the Merce Cunningham Dance Company, called Encounter Merce. Performances happened in existing performance venues, but also in newly colonized locations, on platforms set up in outdoor plazas, at the Cantor Arts Museum, in makeshift spaces. Numerous classes and courses revolved around Cunningham's visit, and for several weeks, the arts were indeed inescapable. This pivotal residency underscored that a big piece of making the arts inescapable was making exposure abundant and in many ways disarming, contextual, and unexpected. So Lively Arts and our collaborators now produce numerous residencies annually. Ralph Lemon, Ann Carlson, Bill Morrison and Dave Douglas, Elizabeth Streb, Laurie Anderson and Meredith Monk are just a few of the artists who've spent meaningful extended time at Stanford. Each one has led us to make maximum use of our existing spaces and the campus at large. And they have found abundant riches at Karma, in the Product Realization Lab, in fountains, in a garden filled with New Guinea totems, and on circuitous stairways. I mention this to underscore that great art can happen in unexpected places, and also to get at another important feature of making the arts inescapable, the sheer immediacy of the connection between artist and audience in some of these unexpected spaces. And it's this quality of immediacy that we most prize and wanted to replicate in the building I'll describe momentarily. As much as spaces facilitate a creative process and an audience experience, allowing the aha moments to surface, our spaces also need to support a wide array of arts making and the creation for campus and visiting arts makers. And given the multiple domains in which many artists work, our spaces are profoundly challenged by their lack of infrastructure, despite having hosted important events in Stanford's history. Clearly, we work with what we have, often at enormous cost in terms of production resource. And so this brings me back to the either or, yes, and both questions earlier, with the overlay of making the arts inescapable and the sense of immediacy and intimacy that we long for. They all lie within the two categories that I outlined earlier, the notion of creating a central arts district and the more decentralized addition or conversion of art spaces across campus. There we go. Toward the former goal, creating an arts district and gathering place, we are well on our way to. Actually, sorry, let me back up. Toward the latter, SECA has made a decisive impact in this decentralized approach. With SECA's support, Stanford has its first ceramic studio, lighting and sound systems are installed in student residences, and the student coffee house, Coho, now has a piano that regularly hosts unplanned jam sessions and performances. Towards the former goal, creating an arts district and gathering place, we're well on our way there too. On May 11th, we broke ground on the Bing Concert Hall, a venue that the campus never before imagined or therefore had the opportunity to even outgrow. The first performances will be January 2013. It will be the home for lively arts performances and for the Stanford Symphony and other music department ensembles, such as Stanford Taiko. It will also be a place for the MoFo and other karma-generated events. Almost done. The design team comprises Polshek Partners, Nagata Acoustics, and Fisher Dack Theater Planning Consultants. The shape is a beautiful vineyard-style, 844 seats surrounding a 3,000 square foot stage. The topography of the stage adjusts through a series of mechanical lifts, but in its flat configuration, it is flush with the first row of seats. There's abundant legroom, extra wide seating, and you'll be able to walk from your seat to almost any other in the house without leaving the hall itself. The 16-foot glass curtain walls in the lobby open to the sylvan setting of our arboretum's old oak trees. And I mention all of this to underscore our goal of having this space serve the performers as much as it supports an intimate social experience of arts going. Karma staff, including Sasha, work closely with the theater system consultants, so any number of speakers or microphones can be hung from rigging points for sophisticated technology-based performances. While we can't predict how technology will evolve, we can build infrastructure to support foreseeable and likely many unforeseen developments. The process of bringing Bing Concert Hall to life has entailed staying faithful to a clear program. As a core project team, we resisted building a larger space, and there was great pressure from the outside to do so. Instead, we wanted students and visitors to have a well-resourced facility with great acoustics to experience performance in a way that is impossible anywhere else on the Stanford campus. And at the center of that program has been a huge sense of optimism on the part of our core team about the value of live performance. We deliberately chose not to build a black box, but there are plans to make existing similar spaces on campus better equipped in the year ahead. Not every need is addressed with a black box theater or a completely flexible space. This is where yes and both come into play, and the notion of a portfolio of spaces that facilitate access and art in different ways. For the arts to be inescapable, both components need to exist. And at the point that they do, I feel certain that the art center of the 21st century will truly be the university campus. Thank you.